So today we're going to talk about some of the big dogs, some of the big investors have gone shopping, and today we're going to look at some of the stocks that they have been buying, because in my opinion some of them are actually quite interesting, and we'll have a look at some of the moves they're making. Hope you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, let's get started. Now I did not put Michael Burry on today's video or the thumbnail, but it's also worth pointing out that he has also been quite active as well. Obviously, whenever you say Michael Burry, obviously the big talk about the 2008 crash, how we call the 2008 crash, always comes out, which is always mentioned. I've got to say, by the way, if you've never seen The Big Short that is based on Michael Burry, the film, it's definitely worth a watch. Just don't watch it with your missus and call it date night, because otherwise she won't be your best mate for the next couple of days. So just a little bit of advice there, watch it on your own. But yeah, really good film. Michael Burry though, he has also been quite active. He did also raise his Alibaba stake, and funny enough, Alibaba have actually just reported earnings as I was about to record this video. The stock is actually down a little bit in pre-market. It's now gone down to 4% down. I thought the earnings were okay. They could have been better. The big thing is obviously we need the Chinese economy to get a little bit better at the growth, or start speeding up a little bit, and then we'll do very well. But I looked at the context here and I was like, okay, you know, when you look at the EPS point of view, it was a decent beat by, you know, nearly 10%. Revenue, yeah, sure, it was a miss, and 4% growth. It's still 4% growth at the end of the day. You're still getting a 2.5% dividend yield. They're still throwing a lot of it, you know, into share buybacks. I was like, realistically though, it's like 9 times forward earnings. It's one of those stocks that you look at and you go, yeah, there could have been a little bit better financials, but for 9 times forward earnings, Alibaba's one of those stocks I keep looking at and I think, I don't know why the stock hasn't really kicked on a little bit from these sort of levels, because you look at Alibaba for like the last couple of years and it just really hasn't done much the last couple of years, really, since, you know, like 2013. Well, even longer than that, if we actually zoom out a little bit, I think the stock has been pretty much stagnant for like the last kind of 2 or 3 years. Although saying that, my internet has been absolutely crap today and it's been really slow and will load for you guys. But yeah, there we go. Yeah, 26% down in the last kind of 2 years, not really done too much, and it's like, you know, when is it going to start kicking on? But yeah, did raise his Alibaba stake. It's also worth saying his second biggest position, which is the paywall up now, he actually made Shift 4 his second largest position, which is quite interesting. The stock has actually had a really big bounce in the last couple of days, up 30%. And I was looking at this actually only brought earnings out on a couple of days ago, 8th of August. And I got to say, there was a decent EPS beat. Yeah, revenue was a fair bit of a miss, but you know, you're still growing like 30% year over year, and it's 21 times forward earnings. I mean, you know, fintech, there's a lot of fintech at low valuations at the moment. I don't know if this is one that's worth having a look at. But getting on to today's video, which obviously was named after Warren Buffett and also Bill Ackman. The chief, the boss man, Warren Buffett, being active once again. And I always say this point with Warren Buffett is that, you know, I love Warren Buffett. He's a great investor. I mean, he's the best investor of all time, isn't he? And, you know, everyone likes Warren Buffett. But I remember only 2 years ago, everybody was saying, yeah, he's finished. You know, he bought Delta Airlines or all these airlines, and then he basically sold them all off at the, you know, the bottom of the COVID crash, and, you know, all of these stocks then went to rallied up in the next kind of 6, 12, 8 months, and he would have taken a lot better of a situation if he sold in 12 months time rather than at the bottom of the COVID. And it shows you even the best investors sometimes get some things wrong. You know, it's part of the, you know, I think people expect you to get something right 100% of the time, and as soon as you get something wrong, you know, I remember people going out and calling like Warren Buffett like, oh, he's finished, and it's like, come on guys. And obviously it's gone on to prove everyone wrong, as he's had many more years since the COVID times of absolutely smashing the market, especially the last couple of years. And it shows you that, you know, as soon as you get something wrong, everybody's saying like you're a bad investor, and sometimes that, you know, you are going to make mistakes. Even the best investors make mistakes, but it's how you bounce back from them, and he's certainly done that, hasn't he? But yeah, Warren Buffett obviously bought. Warren Buffett, or Berkshire Hathaway, bought a stake in Ulta Beauty, and the stock is actually rolling up a lot in pre-market, up 15%. Which is interesting, because actually only 6 days ago I talked about some bad news or bad earnings that came out of Airbnb, and talked about Celsius. But I also talked about a new stock I might buy, and I actually mentioned in that video I'm actually considering Ulta Beauty. It's funny, clearly what we've found out in the last 24 hours is Warren Buffett watches the JKR Investing YouTube channel, because he must have got that idea from me. Yeah, but Ulta Beauty is up 15%, and obviously the thing is that obviously he would have bought the stake, but you have so many people that actually follow Warren Buffett's investments. So now that this is publicly come out there, people going, oh, you know, I'm going to buy Ulta Beauty because Warren Buffett bought it and he's a very good investor. People follow it and obviously has that ability to move the stock up. And you can see here the new ad was a pretty decent position into the Berkshire Hathaway portfolio. There was a couple of other buys that you can see here. Obviously, what we heard not too long ago is the big reduction in Apple stake, even though it's still the largest position in the portfolio. It was quite a big reduction in the stake. I don't know what the plan is with Apple. I don't know if he's going to continue to bring that position down or he just wants to take some profit off the table. We'll see what happens with there, but I think that's a very good call. But there was 2 new buys into the portfolio, as you can see here. I like the move. I like the move from Warren Buffett. I can see why he is looking at buying this stock as the same reasons that I outlined about 6 days ago in that little talk about Ulta Beauty. And the other one was Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman's Pershing Square took a new stake in Nike and also Brookfield. Brookfield's actually another interesting one, but Nike as well. Nike is currently up 4% in pre-market after this news. It must be really nice, you know, you have this ability to buy a stock and then just the news of your name is buying this stock and backing this stock. The ability to lift the shares up that much, it must be a really nice feeling. But, you know, Bill Ackman, once again, good investor. You look at his returns in the last couple of years, 2020, 58% in 2019, 70% in 2020, 27% in 2021, and 27% last year. Obviously, a drop in 2022, but I mean, you would have done really well to make money in 2022 because that was the worst stock market since 2008. But obviously, some really good returns in the last year. And just talk about mistakes once again. You know, you talk about Bill Ackman. You know, really good returns in the last few years. But you know, this was a guy that sold his stake in Netflix, and then the stock went on an absolutely unbelievable run and proved to be a really bad mistake from Bill Ackman. You know, once again, all the good investors make mistakes in the stock market, guys. Proof there. But yeah, obviously, buying Nike is a pretty big move. It's the first time that they've made a new investment since they bought Google during the first quarter of 2023. And obviously, you know, Google has gone on to do very well. Google's also a position that I own. I actually do believe he might have actually trimmed Google slightly when I looked. I can't see it down here on this article, but I believe that it was there. But I'm not going to confirm that. But yeah, obviously buying Nike, a bit of a surprise for me. I didn't really expect to see him buy Nike. You know, I can make the case for Google. I think Google is a good stock, especially at the levels he was buying in 2023. I look at Netflix. I could argue the case that Netflix was a good buy. Well, it obviously was a good buy in that time frame. But I look at Nike and I'm like, you know, financially the numbers aren't great at the moment. Like the company is, you know, struggling on a revenue point of view. They're not growing. The company's, you know, pretty fairly valued at the moment. And I think the only way that you're going to make money is that if, you know, Nike goes back up to 30 times earnings, which he clearly thinks it will do. But I think to do that, you need to get back to growth. But the big thing between like Google is that, you know, you got the kind of monopoly on the search engine. Netflix, you're in there subscription wise you're tied in that you have to keep using them. You know, Nike is a lot different from them other 2 stocks because you've got competitions to deal with. You know, Nike has to deal with the likes of Adidas, Deckers, the new boys on the block like on Holdings, the running shoes, and also like Lululemon. And you know, for me, that's personally, I actually think Lululemon is a better stock than Nike. I would say that buying Lululemon would have been a better one. That's the personal one that I'm personally buying. I think Lululemon will outperform Nike, and that's the one that I've personally bought over Nike. So we'll see. We'll see if Nike was the right one to go buy during this weakness in this kind of fashion space, or Lululemon was. And I think there is opportunities in that space, and clearly Bill Ackman buying Nike thinks there's also this opportunities in the space. But personally for me, I would have gone Lululemon over Nike. But it's an interesting move. So yeah, that's some updates on what some of the big dogs are currently doing in the stock market, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think Alibaba's a good buy? Do you think Shift 4 is potentially a good opportunity? What do you think about Ulta Beauty? Did you buy that stock while it was having a dip? Also, Nike. Do you think Nike's a good opportunity? I personally think Lululemon's better stock than Nike to be buying right now, but some of you guys might think Nike. I don't know, but it's interesting to see, isn't it? So I hope you enjoyed this video on what some of the big dogs are doing anyway, guys. If you could hit that like button, and I'll see you in a bit.